want to know what dyspraxia is and the experience of a mom to a dyspraxic child, how about finding out how I treated her dyspraxia naturally? Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Doris Onwunumah. I am a mom to a child with global developmental delay, and this includes ADHD, dyspraxia, sensory processing disorder, learning difficulties, emotional dysregulation, and so on and so forth. In this video, I am only going to talk about her dyspraxia. I have other videos in my channel that talks about some of her other conditions. I am also going to talk about my experience as a mom to a child with dyspraxia. And I'm going to talk about how I treated it naturally. Yes, you heard me right. Treated it naturally. So stick around to the end of the video. Okay, first, let's give a few official medical views on dyspraxia. Here I've got a few papers with me. I've got links to these institutions in the descriptions below. First, the NHS piece. What does the NHS say, the UK NHS say about dyspraxia? Developmental coordination disorder, also known as dyspraxia, is a condition affecting physical coordination. It causes a child to perform less well than expected in daily activities for their age and appear to move clumsily. It's a long confirmation, a long list of information. So the next set of information is from the National Library of Medicine. This is the US National Library of Medicine, online. It's called also called the National Institute of Health. I'll post a link in the description below. It says, dyspraxia has been defined as a breakdown of praxis and the inability to utilize voluntary motor abilities and the inability to utilize voluntary motor abilities effectively in all aspects of life, from play to structured tasks. That's just what they say. Again, look at that. That's just page 1. So link in there. You can get more information there. And this last sheet is from the Dyspraxia Foundation organization in the UK. It says, dyspraxia, a form of developmental coordination disorder, is a common disorder affecting fine and or gross motor coordination in children and adults. It may affect speech. DCD is a lifelong condition formally recognized by international organizations, including the World Health Organization. This is them there. Right. The one thing as well that is missing in all those information, I mean, I think the last sheet of paper there did say it's a lifelong condition, is that there's no formal medical cure yet. I treated it, so stick around till the end. Right, my experience with dyspraxia. Before I even knew that dyspraxia was a thing, never heard of it before. I just knew that my daughter was delayed in her milestones. In particular, the very first one was obviously the motor skills. She crawled late, she walked late, she walked at 22 months, but the issue with her walking, taking her first step, was sort of like she would the 22 months wasn't the issue. It was that even though she took her first step at 22 months, it took her another 3 months before she could actually walk properly unaided. She was very wobbly. she would walk and then walk on the side and just sort of until she fell over. She kept doing this. And because she was my first kid, I thought this was how. I didn't understand. I asked my friends, when your child walked, how long did it take before they could walk properly? And they would say, oh, it was a week. They just took the first step, and then a week later, no. You know. Not having a go, but I'm trying to say, to me, I didn't know how children, in terms of their development, what it was supposed to be. There I was with this little girl who would walk on and walked at an angle until she fell over. When she was walking outside, you have to hold her hand because she kept leaning over. She would hold your hand and she would lean over, and if you let go, she would drop. She walked with, if you put shoes on her, she walked with one foot at a right angle, at 90 degrees angle, constantly out in front of her, like that. Just one leg out, because she wanted you to take the shoe off. There was something about, and I think this is more to do with her sensory that came much later, but didn't really get it at the time. She just had one leg out, like that, out, and she always wanted, she just refused to just walk. The other thing was, obviously, because she couldn't talk, she couldn't actually say take the shoe off or something. You just thought there seemed to be something wrong with her leg. What's the matter? Not really sure. She had every time she walked out the front door, she would sort of, it's as if, imagine you're stepping off a ledge, off a cliff. You just kind of step off without really looking. She just looked out and stepped off. More often than not, she always fell. And I was like, I don't understand this kid. Why? Every day, every single day, you leave this house to get in the car and you fall down outside the door. Steps. So we kept the stair gates on for much longer. And till she was treated, because she couldn't navigate stairs. It took much longer than normal to go up the stairs, and coming down the stairs, she would try to take 2 stairs at a time, but more often than not, it's because she wasn't looking, and I didn't understand, why wouldn't you look where you're going so that you can step on the stairs? Nothing. So there was that was the step part. She always bumped. She would bump. It just appeared as if there were things that she couldn't see. Like, there's a pillar there. How could you bump into a pillar? Things like that. I would put sort of safety cushion things. The wall, she's going to walk into that wall. She's going to walk into that door. She was just constantly walking into stuff. She also banged her legs. She banged her legs, not just her foot. She would bang her leg constantly on the wall, on the side of the bed. Her legs literally were covered in bruises. There was a new bruise every other day. School, noticed bruise. She came home from school with bruise, and I said, how did she get this bruise today? And they just didn't know. But the fact of the matter is, I could see that she got bruises even at home, and she didn't appear to notice them. It's almost like, oh yeah, look, there's a bruise there. Body awareness, hardly ever there. She was not potty trained at the age of 6. And the saddest thing about it was, she wasn't even aware that she wasn't potty trained. There was no awareness. And it was like, how can you not? I think in hindsight, looking back, I think she just didn't understand the signals within her body. There was delay there, so she didn't really get it. But for me, looking from the outside in, I just didn't understand how she couldn't understand or tell her own body signals, Hearing was something else as well. I suspected she had auditory processing disorder as well, so I took her to an auditory consultant. But the problem was she had learning difficulties and she was too young to be tested, because the test they had was for someone that didn't have learning difficulty. Someone that didn't, for children that didn't have learning difficulties and could understand and follow the instructions. This was a child with ADHD, follow instructions. But the thing with it is, every time you spoke to her, she would look at you, and people tend to misunderstood that action or her response as, oh, she must not have heard. Maybe she's a bit deaf. My mom even said, check her hearing. I think she might be deaf. It's like, no, we checked her hearing so many times. Her hearing is fine. It was fine. It's fine. But it was more, I noticed if I just give her an instruction and waited, then she'll be like, oh, okay, we'll do it now. And I was like, hang on, there seemed to be a delay in the way she took information in, and you had to keep it. We learned to keep information simple. So we learned to use simple words. So we stuck to keywords like dinner, chicken. We say things like, are you hungry? Too long for her. But she understood chicken. So it was just things like it was just difficult, I guess, physically not being aware. She jumped a lot, and this I could be related to her sensory issues, but just so she could feel her joints and her knees. So she would do a lot of jumping, and she would it's almost like part of banging her leg against the wall or objects that she found around, as if she couldn't feel, as if she had a high pain threshold and she really needed to feel her body, So we got her we got her a weighted blanket. We would roll her, just so that she could feel the extent of her body in space. Just looking at her hand for her wasn't enough. She had to feel it as well. So there was a sensory combination with the dyspraxia, and I can't really separate both of them. But this is some of the things that we experienced. If she was walking and there was maybe a twig on the floor and she wanted to just step over it, she made an exaggerated movement as if it was a gorge, and I just thought, she just doesn't know that she just can't judge the distance. She couldn't judge distance, not by sight. She had her sight tested. I was like, she can see very well, so it's not that. She had her hearing tested. Her hearing is clear, but the processing was different, because we found that when you asked her a question, she would look at you and then she'll answer like 10 minutes later. And as time went on, school understood that, yeah, we all know she tends to, she will respond 10 minutes later, so that's okay. We just kind of got used to doing that. And there is no, you just have a lot of therapy. There is no cure. It's therapy to teach you about your body, to help you with the sensory integration, the jumping that she did, the swinging, the vestibular stimulation that she sought so much. So she did a lot of swing. She did a lot of vestibular stimulation, the swings and the slides and the climbing. So we did a lot of climbing to help her navigate stairs and objects, between herself and objects. We did an awful lot of that. I could go on and on, but this is really just to give you a picture of the sort of child that she was. And then what happened, I discovered Crystal Apothecary. I discovered Crystal Apothecary, and wow, 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 wow. That is all I can say. I did forget to mention that she was a messy eater. It took her a long time to feed herself, but at this stage, if your child or you would probably figure out that yes, this is dyspraxia. So let's move on to the Crystal Apothecary piece. A couple of weeks after I started her on the Crystal Apothecary, she was potty trained. She was potty trained. You know, like as you would a toddler. It took about a week or so, but that was it. It was over a summer period, so when she went back to school were shocked because they knew how she was. They knew how unaware of her body she was, and they were just completely shocked at how she became the new her. So that was one of the first things. I also took the stairgate off the stairs just to give her some more practice, and then I was surprised. She would walk up the stairs, she would walk down the stairs. It was like there was no delay. There was no longer any delay to her going up and down the stairs. I didn't need to have the stairgate as a safety measure because now she could navigate her way by herself up and down the stairs easily and safely. Now she runs up the stairs. And yes, from Crystal Apothecary. What was the other big thing? I'm saying big things because there was just so many little things that happened that I'm just touching on the big things. The other big thing was her speech. All of a sudden, I remember I mentioned, you spoke to her, she'll do that. And then 10 minutes later, she'll answer your question, or at least attempt to answer your question, because like I said, she had a speech issue. She couldn't really speak properly. And this was something else school noticed, was her speech just improved. So school spoke to her, her class, they'll speak to her as they are also trying to improve her speech. And a few times, I think her teacher said to me, I had to do a double take because she just responded. I thought, oh, what's that? Did she just answer me? And that's exactly what it was. Her speech just went up, just improved exponentially. All of a sudden, she could answer you. There wasn't this delay where she stared at you and then it took a while for her to respond. There wasn't this delay where I asked her to do something and it took a while and I'm there waiting for her to do it. She responded so quickly and instantaneously. It really shocked me. It really shocked me how well this was, how well this worked. I'm hoping I have a clip that I can show on this video just to show her navigating the stairs, because she's feeding herself easily. She's feeding herself too fast, but okay, she's feeding herself easily. She doesn't jump as much. She enjoys jumping, but it's not in an obsessive way. And I don't know if it's because she doesn't require the vestibular stimulation, or because I've also been working with her sensory issues. I have a video about that, and because I don't know which condition was belonged to what the vestibular stimulation, what that was. I'm not a medical doctor. I can't tell you. I can only tell you this is what she did. And I started her on Crystal Apothecary, which also addressed sensory issues. Both of those are gone. Just to give a bit more context on Crystal Apothecary. Crystal Apothecary is a treatment process that uses a combination of color therapy and quartz crystals to treat a range of health conditions. You can find out more information about Crystal Apothecary and in my website, link in the description. In my website, you can contact me for a free, no obligation consultation, because now, having made this discovery, I want to help others out there. So get in touch and let me show you how I can help you.